Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. So the Cemu development team just released a post on their Patreon telling us all of the most up-to-date news about the release of Cemu 1.11.4. So before we start talking about what's improved, its release date is going to be on the 30th of January for all Cemu patrons, releasing 7 days thereafter for everyone else for free on February 6th. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about what's going to be improved in this new release of Cemu. So the footage you are watching on screen right now is Mario Party 10 booting for the first time in Cemu emulator. Now while this title is indeed booting and going in game, it is still reported to be very unstable and still suffers with frequent crashes of which they do not know the cause. It also has very limited playability due to this game's reliance on Wii remotes themselves, as they are not fully supported in Cemu emulator just yet. Staying on the topic of party games, Wii Party U also now boots in games, but in a similar fashion to Mario Party 10, it has limited functionality due to its reliance on Wii remotes. The developers of Cemu have also asked us, the community, to keep an eye out for other lesser known titles and to add to the Cemu Compatibility guide if we can. I will have the Compat guide linked down in the description, so if you want to add to it and list a game that now currently works which didn't work in a previous version of Cemu, you can do so once it fully releases on January 30th. Let's move on to some hardware specific rendering issues with Cemu emulator. So even though the Cemu website says that Intel integrated graphics are not officially supported, they have always made the effort to make Cemu run on them. Over the past 2 years, they tell us they have added quite a few Intel-specific code paths and workarounds. Now some of these workarounds are quite aggressive in the sense that they disable part of Cemu's rendering backend in order to avoid crashing on some of Intel's GPUs. Basically, their thought pattern was that it was better to have graphics glitches than to have Cemu crash or not work at all on these Intel iGPUs. So nowadays, Intel has actually caught up quite a bit. Their OpenGL drivers, at least for recent GPUs, can run most Cemu games without crashing, and the general support for OpenGL features past OpenGL 4.5 is also quite good. So in 1.11.4 they have added an experimental command line option which will enable the disabling of all legacy Intel performance workarounds. They have given us this comparison of Super Mario World 3D running on an Intel HD graphics 630. Now the performance they tell us is still slightly lacking, running between 40 and 55 FPS, but these issues can be fixed by downscaling and using lower resolution graphics packs. Only time will tell, however, how well Cemu 1.11.4 will run on Intel iGPUs. We are going to have to do extensive performance testing once it fully releases. Okay, let's switch gears once again and look at the progress in emulation of the Wii U system softwares themselves. We have been told that they have made some overall progress with running the Wii U system software. Most noteworthy, it is now possible to get into the Wii U menu. They have given us this short video as you can see on screen right now. Now even though it runs, the functionality is still very limited right now, as several features necessary like title management aren't emulated within Cemu just yet. The other system title that now boots is the friends list. Like the menu, however, it is only booting and not much of the actual friends list functionality is working just yet. That said, friends list support is quite high on their priority list, so we can expect to hear more about this soon in the future. As usual, using any of these online features will in fact require that you own a legitimate Wii U and you have dumped all of the necessary files. Okay, so finally let's talk about some bug fixes and general optimizations to Cemu in Cemu 1.11.4. The developers have told us that they have overhauled some parts of the code to require less memory, and they have even found and fixed several memory leaks. Overall, 1.11.4 should use about 10 to 15% less RAM in comparison to any previous releases of Cemu. Now while we will have to wait and see what exactly these memory leak fixes are, hopefully they can alleviate some of the issues when using the camera rune in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in such areas as the Gerudo Desert and in or around Goron City. So there we go guys, all of the latest and greatest up-to-date news on Cemu 1.11.4. Are you guys excited to see what exact games will be booting and what kind of performance enhancements we can see when using this version in comparison to 1.11.3 or any other previous versions of Cemu? As always guys, cheers for checking out the video, remember to like it if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see all future videos from me.